Fascism is an ideology that puts all control into a central authoritarian figure. One example of fascism from recent history would be the Nazi regime of the 20th century under Adolf Hitler. And we can look back and see what the results of fascism can be. Contrast this with a republic where power is supposed to be with the people and their elected representatives with a president at its head. The United States is supposed to be a republic. But the question is, why does it have so many prominent symbols of fascism enshrined within it? I've known this for some time, but a light went off recently when I saw the Emancipation statue in the context of recent protest over systematic racial injustices. These offensive statues should be removed from public places. But getting past the overt racism, what about the blatant symbol of fascism under Lincoln's hand? The same symbol is in the House of Representatives. It's also on the dime coin. It's called a fasciae, or a bundle of rods with an axe sticking out of it. It's a symbol of a government under the forced control of a single entity, or fascism. It's an ancient Roman symbol that was adopted by Italy's Benito Mussolini to represent his fascist regime. Now ask yourself, why would a nation that's supposed to be a republic flaunt overt systems of fascism? Racism is a part of this country. Police have been abusing and killing African Americans for ages. The justice system has been rigged against us from the start, and most others haven't cared much. This has been going on for years, but when we've complained about it in the past, we've been accused of using the race card. So why the attention and all the support now? This is a question we should ask ourselves because nothing gets blanket media coverage unless the powers that ought not be want that to be the case. See, revolutions don't just happen. They are coordinated and made to happen. This was the case in the American, French, and Russian revolutions, among other wars and conflicts around the world. And we seem to be on the cusp of another big change now. But what's the end game? Where is all of this going? With everything going on, I just want to remind people of what Bible prophecy says about three significant events. First, in Matthew 24, verse 7, it says, "Nation will rise against nation." In the Greek language that was used to copy the original Hebrew manuscript, the word nation is ethos. It's where we get our English word ethnicity. With this understanding, we can expect that in what the Bible refers to as the time of the end, ethnicity will rise against ethnicity. And for an ethnicity to rise, it must first somehow be down or downtrodden. Believe it or not, the main organization leading the uprising we're seeing in the United States is admittedly Marxist. Without getting into too much detail or over my own head, Marxism is an ideology that seeks to balance wealth by taking from the rich and giving to the poor. It sounds good on the surface, but society ultimately ends up under the control of a central communist government. Second, in Revelation 18, end-time Babylon is described. Throughout that chapter, we get a glimpse into the depth of its sins and how it by then has deceived nearly the entire world. What's fascinating about how it deceives can be found in verse 23. It says the beast, known elsewhere in end-time prophecy as the little horn, the man of sin, or the Antichrist, will deceive the world by means of pharmakia. This is where we get our English word pharmacy. This should at least raise an eyebrow should things like vaccines ever become mandatory in order for us to operate normally in society. The third event we can expect according to end-time prophecy is a one-world religio-political government that will enforce obedience to it under the pain of death. This can be found in Revelation 13 and Revelation 17, but support for this time frame can also be found in Matthew 24, Mark 13, and Luke 21, with foundation being provided in the book of Daniel. So these issues aren't just happening haphazardly with no aim in sight. It's like ingredients to a meal are being prepared separately until later being cooked together when ready. Now, I'm not sure about you, but I'm expecting a bumpy ride from here on out. Where we can find comfort is knowing everything happening and will happen has been scripted in Bible prophecy. And victory is assured for those who endure until the end or until their faith leads them to their death. They didn't erect and enshrine these fascist symbols for nothing. And whether any of us want it or not, this is what we can expect in coming times. So for now, as we approach this one world government, we're seeing a race war being pushed. It's everywhere. Remember, Bible prophecy says of these times that the love of many will wax cold. It's as though society is intentionally being herded into camps solely designed to hate each other. But we don't have to. Those who put their trust in the Most High don't have to participate in a propaganda war that's part of a designed and orchestrated revolution that pits human against human. These things will happen whether we participate or not. It's the result of social engineering and social programming, so it's simply what the masses will do. No politician can stop it or deliver us safely through it. Our safety, whether in this life or in paradise, can only be assured in one place. Now, I'm not saying we shouldn't protest injustices. We should. Just beware of your alliances and any agendas they may have that don't align with yours. And instead of uniting in the chaos of this world, unite under the love, authority, and protection of our Creator and stand in the right against all wrong.